coming from every direction. Okay. Do you want some halwa?
Actually, still in my tummy.
Saka?
Bubble. So today should be covered in Mama.
ఏది ఏదో తెలియదు
ఏరా ఒకటి బాగా వస్తాయి మాకు అక్కడ స్వీట్ కార్నర్
One more? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I'll eat it. Okay, then that's it. Why? Because I need it for the chicken. That's good. Let's go on with this.
No, you. Okay. So don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Stop it.
Okay, now again. Okay, now you. Go!
అది మిక్స్ చేస్తే బెటర్ మార్నింగ్ అది టూ లిక్విడ్ ఉంది ఇది టూ స్ట్రాంగ్ ఉంది అదొకటి
ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి పడుతుంది ఉదయం కూడా రిచ్ వస్తానందని ఇంకా ఇంకో నిద్ర పట్టలేదు మనం
I need is an absolute silence for me to get started, and you'll understand why exactly that is. So if you guys are standing, please sit down. I mean, in all due respect to every girl, every woman, every mother, every sister, the stories that I'm actually going to share right now, it kind of requires an undivided attention. So I'll probably humbly ask each of you to settle down. Okay, thanks for understanding. I mean, like, we are already at 9:45. We do actually have some of our key all over the country. We're here and we'll love for you guys to hear their stories out as well. So I'm just going to introduce myself. If we haven't met yet, my name is Ravi Kantamseri, husband to Sashurika Gandrotu, and father to Sarya Kantamseri, and I will tell you why that is very critical for this a few stories that I'm actually going to talk to you about. So very recently, Saryu, my daughter, she did a TikTok, right, and she got 60,000 views, or likes actually, like the way she would call it, right? And she said, "Daddy, you post something every single day for the last 10 years and you barely get 20 likes." So I told her, all it needs is those 20 people to make a difference and change the world. And I'm extremely happy today to share that those 20 people are actually in this room, right? And also told her I don't like the fact about somebody liking something. I always believe in sharing. And that's exactly what this event today is all about. So to tell a story of Pari, as a parent, as a brother, right? So I'm going to take several different roles now to kind of help you guys understand, to give you a sense of like the journey that we have taken, right? So let's just talk through some of these numbers really quick. You know, what you see there is a quick snapshot of what are the core agendas and core project line that we actually do. So we do have street children in our trust, and they're in Dehradun. We have about 500 plus special needs children like all over the country. So we got Kerala, we got Asha Jyoti, we got Abhilasha in Hyderabad, and then we have Manovikas in East Godavari, Rajor. I guess by now we already established the fact that we are very close to special needs children. And then we have more than 2,500 plus underprivileged children that we've been sponsoring for the last 10 years. On an average, there are about 40 abandoned babies. We kind of have worked with our other partner, Care and Share in Vijayawada. And we recently adopted more than 200 girls who are less than 15 years of age and who all had been raped. Krishna, next slide. So this is quite an eye chart, and some of you have already seen this. I think all I was trying to communicate is a girl child's life is extremely complicated. It's really not that simple. So I'll try to tell you a few stories to kind of really narrate that. Next. So our story, I mean, like the reason why Save the Child is here today and what really drove me about 10 years ago was this story of Sadhana. And the kids just enacted that in their play where a newborn baby was wrapped in a newspaper and she was abandoned in a trash can of a cemetery. So that's Sadhana 10 years ago, and that's what she looks like right now. She just got into 3rd grade this year, and she's been happily adopted by an American couple, and she lives in Iowa. So the second newspaper story is, obviously the theme is a newspaper, and I don't know where I lost my newspaper today. But the second one is Rita, and which again was enacted by some other kids in the play. So Rita used to rack pick for 12 hours a day, right? For 2 rotis. And even that was scarce. So she got into Asta Trust. We have this program, we kind of take them out and we put them on an outreach program. And she's like #1 in sports and studies and everything, and she actually goes and she qualified for the best school in Delaware. And that is just incredible that of a street kid. And my dream is to bring her to US someday, right? Right now she's in 6th grade. But 12 hours of rat picking, I took my chain makers to clean the streets in the city of Frisco. So they said, like, what are we getting after we finish the street cleaning, right? And this is 12 hours every single day. And it's just not Rita, there's so many other kids that we actually have. And there are more than 2,000 of those kids that actually have been mainstreamed by Asta Trust in Delaware. This next story is of Pinky. Pinky is, so obviously she's the youngest kid. She has one sister, one younger brother. She lives in a slum. And her goal is she wakes up in the morning, 4:30, she does all the maid. And after the maid work is done, then she cleans up the house. Then she cooks the food because the parents are actually daily wage laborers. And this one day, she went back to her mom and said, Mom, I would like to go study, right? And you have seen that, what the mom did, what she literally took a frying pan and she was about to smash the head of the girl. Because they don't want, if both the mom and dad are not home and if they have to educate the child, there's just no means to kind of take care of the kids. The youngest kid, which is a boy, will definitely go to school, but the girl will never go. Pinky is already in a school, and you can see that in the school dress there. So there's another amazing success story of Asta Trust. Next one. This is Chandni, and you guys have, we actually had one of our kids actually do that too. So Chandni has, she doesn't have one leg and one arm. So typically the rag picking scene and the begging scene, right? And she's also been mainstream. There is a video of Chandni I would like for you guys to really see, to actually tell us the story of how we are typically tackling challenges around begging and etc. So I'll share a simple story with you guys. And this kind of really requires a change of mindset from each of you the next time you go to India. So we kind of think like, we're all connected to India, but like, we obviously have started making so much money. So, tendency is like we're always in the car. We're never on the ground in India. And there is a beggar that comes and you just like throw some money at the beggar. So I went to meet these kids and we have something called anti-begging campaign. So when I actually went like at 11:30 in the morning, the kids have already raised, through begging, 1,500 rupees. तो मैं बच्चे के पास गया, मैंने बोला यार कितने पैसे कमाए तुम लोगों ने? Then they said, सर आप मेरे घर आओ, आपको मुर्गा खिलाएंगे. If this is the attitude of the kid on the street who's begging, and there's no freaking incentive for the parents to send these kids to school, because if it was 1,500 rupees by 11 o'clock in the morning, imagine what it is. And nobody is giving 10 rupees and 5 rupees anymore. Everybody's just throwing 100 rupees notes to the kids. It is making it extremely difficult for organizations such as ours to really tackle the problem. So the humble ask of each of you is the next time when you're in India, and if a beggar comes to the street, do not ever give any money to the kids. So as simple as that. Can you guys do that? So this is the story which is very closest to my heart, right? So I recently met these 4 girls through my my sister Madhavi up here. So the story is the girl sitting right next to me, her name is Vasanta, and the girl next to her is, man, I forget the name, Bhavani, and then Chandrika, and then Yesu Mariam. The reason Vasanta's story is so critical for each and every one of us is because at 6:30 in the evening, when she was walking, I mean, like, I can't use the expression of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because I, for one, believe, ek ladki ke liye, there is no time right now. You cannot even say that she's in the wrong place at the wrong time, because this was 5:30 or 6:30 in the evening, and she was actually raped by 6 men. The girl is 9th grade student, and she was raped by 6 men. And it actually didn't end there. 30 minutes later, another 5 people came, and she was raped again. And so every time I get on WhatsApp and I see all these ridiculous posts that are being forwarded, you guys have to understand that the boys had probably a victory run the first 6 kids. How the heck did the next 5 guys came to know? And they thought they got a free ride here, and they raped the girl? I want you to kind of start thinking about it, right? So here's the challenge. Every one of you, or most of you, have a girl child. And I keep asking the same question to all my friends. Because the first time I said we're going to start a program called Pari Rape, people told me, why the heck are you calling it rape? The problem is we are not calling a rape, and that is the biggest problem that we actually have. So let me tell the other 3 stories and I'll come back here. Then I go back to the previous slide. So Bhavani was obviously Madhavi's diligence, she was rescued of not getting into sex work because her sister was already there and she was already a candidate for trafficking, right? She was rescued, and thanks to Madhavi for that, right? Chandrika on the other side, the girl in the green, ridiculously smart girl, right? She just left home because she was pissed off her dad and whatever happened. She was found on the streets. So the couple of guys came in on the bike, like you watch in the movies, right? So they said, all right, they saw this girl, and they said, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to do something. We'll get you a job or something, right? So girl said no, but they came back on the bike again. And this time they took her. And 2 boys raped the girl for 3 days. That's Chandrika's story. Then Yesu Mariamma, the other girl on this corner, has been raped by one stepfather. Yeah. And Mallikarjun, he told me today, this is yesterday evening's news, that we just enrolled another girl in Cerus who's been actually raped by her own father, right? So this is happening way too often, guys. Just to give you guys a statistic, right? But before I give you the statistic, I keep asking this to everybody, and I want you to start thinking about it by the time you guys go home, right? How many of you are willing to let go of your daughter for 10 minutes in a busy junction road in Vijayawada, Vizag, Hyderabad, Delhi, I don't care, like any part of India? Are you ready and willing to actually abandon your girl child for 10 minutes? I don't think anybody's going to take that opportunity. Because the chances are, it won't take more than 10 minutes for the girl to be trafficked. And why is that critical? So when we adopted these kids, I actually met another 75 kids who were actually in a juvenile kind of home. And these girls are there, and I went and I met them. Like about 50% of the girls actually have been abused or raped. And I said and I talked to Madhavi and I said what's the mistake that the girl did? She was raped, and you put her together with all these other different kinds of girls, whatever background that they have. You guys are not doing anything. All you're trying to do is, trying to protect a girl, putting them under 4 different walls. And then the minute I asked, why are you doing this? And they said, if these girls leave this place or they escape from this home, by the time they get to the junction, there is going to be a lorry driver, an auto driver, or somebody who's going to traffic the girl, and chances are the girl will be raped. This is exactly what happened to some of our other girls, right? From a statistic perspective, Andhra Pradesh is number 4 for rape. There are about 20 rape cases every single day in Andhra Pradesh. And one of those cases it's actually making all the way to me. Not through a newspaper, it's already coming to me where Madhvi or somebody is going to say, we have another rape case. What are we going to do about it, right? So we have actually created a program and we're actually going to become a voice. And the reason I'm standing in front of all of you here is to kind of advocate against gender violence and rape or sexual abuse or trafficking for that matter to protect the girl child. And you know what the biggest challenge that we have? I was socializing this with some other friends the other day. We just did an assessment of what are the biggest challenges that we hit, right? I don't know if you guys know this, there are about 800 temples in America with a total net worth of more than $1 billion, right? There are about 22 temples in Dallas alone. Let's say we put a $1 million, $1.5 million per temple. We just spent $25 million on temple building in Dallas alone. Let's just add the Frisco temple to the mix. It just completely skews the numbers up, right? So that's the biggest challenge that we have. The second challenge is we have foundations which are very culturally intensive for entertainment, for social, community building, and etc. Most of you are familiar with Tanas and the Natas and Nats and all these organizations, right? I truly believe that we definitely need these cultural organizations because they bring all of us together. They're bringing all of us together, but they're just taking away so far away from India. If each of you are thinking right now that you're connected to India, you're completely wrong. I don't know when was the last time you actually set your foot in a farm and heard a farmer's story or a crisis, right? When was the last time you went to a cafeteria and you saw a child who was serving tea and you did not question it? So we spent about $20 million in temple building. We spent another $20 million on cultural events. So how much money are we really spending for education and everything else? If you guys thought if I just really did the math and I put that as a pizza, then 4 slices have already gone to the God and temples and or spiritual beliefs and Babas and all that other stuff. I got nothing against anybody for that matter. I'm a big fan of every God here because they truly give me the energy and all that stuff. So there are only 2 slices of the pizza left, right? One of the slices is taken away because each of you here, not just each of you here, but most of the people, right? I'm not really pointing out anybody here, but you guys all believe in a very vertical mindset. A vertical mindset is, okay, this organization is going to do something for education, I'm going to give some money. This other organization, Shankarai Foundation, is doing something for vision, I'm going to give it, right? It's all great and good. You're trying to solve somebody else's blindness, and you're totally blinded to the fact, and you live with this freaking fear that you're not going to abandon your girl child for 10 minutes. What makes you think any girl on the road or any girl on the street right now is actually safe and secure? So what are we going to do about it, right? What are we going to teach our children? All I'm trying to say is, education is great, but holistic development is what makes the big difference. And that's exactly the reason why we have all different leaders from different partners here, all coming together to tell you guys one complete story. So truth of the matter is, we're not even that slice. Save the Child Foundation is only a bite. That bite equates to $1.2 million, which we have raised in the last 10 years. If it takes 10 years to raise $1.2 million, and people just throw money away, $20 million for a temple, and then what? Another $3 million just for a fun event over Memorial Day or July 4th? all I'm trying to say is, I'm just trying to challenge you guys to think differently, right? If you had two children, one of them boy, one of them girl, I can guarantee right now you treat them equal. It's all matter of gender equality. So here's an opportunity for you guys to kind of, become the champions for the girl children. And if that slice or the bite actually becomes a slice, that's about raising what, $100 or $1 million every year. And you know what the impact is? I'm just going to summarize what Save the Child has done, but I'm going to quickly caveat that with what everybody else has done, right? So I'm a strategy guy, so I'm very big on numbers because we're obviously building to impact at scale. That's exactly what we're trying to do, right? So I showed you some numbers in the beginning, but then we have folks like Soumya Dabriwal, who's barely 22 years old. I mean, imagine 22 years old, and he's impacted more than 75,000 girls in India. You know what that does? It actually puts our impact, like when we all come together, we actually have a footprint in 25 states. The second tactic that everybody needs to understand is, we are just not some non-governmental organizations, we are not charities, friends. Like, we never use that word charity in our life. What we are social entrepreneurships, we're actually change makers, we're really trying to bring the change, right? And there is a strategy in the way we are approaching this. So through Madhavi, who's actually a Child Welfare Committee chairperson for West Godavari district, we're actually connected to 13 of those chairpersons across the state. That basically gives us access to every single child on the street right now, and we know exactly how to solve a problem. I think that tactic was very important, right? And I have this amazing friend Shaila Talluri, and you'll probably talk to her. Man, come on, this organization is what, 2 years old or 2.5 years old? And they impacted 150,000 children in 2 years. I think it's a miracle. It's just not possible. And I don't think people really know the scale at the speed at which we actually work in trying to bring that change. So before I close my argument, the one thing I would like to share is, none of this journey in the last 10 years was actually made possible. I definitely want to quote one person in my life who actually has been my pillar of strength, and she's always been there. I just want to give a shout out to my wife, Sashirika Gandro. Now let's talk donations. It's unlike most other projects, right? So I was going to come here and ask all of you to consider making a contribution. We all can come together, raise $100,000. And I'll tell you a very quick, math of how that's going to work. So we have potty pads, right? So we actually made a commitment to provide 2 million potty pads to women and girl children in India and etc. and all that other stuff. And we have so far given away 750,000 pads. From the point back in January 24th of 2017 when we actually gave the first pad. And right now we have given away 750,000 pads. I think that's worth an applause. So to continue that effort, we obviously have planned to give away 2 million potty pads by end of 2020. So the 100,000, the way it works is we're going to use 60,000 to actually give potty pads to like the girl children across India. 15,000 is actually for potty trafficking, and I have my 3 amazing, beautiful sisters here from Kranti. They'll come back and talk to you guys a little later, but they just put me in tears today. But I'm very tolerant, so be ready to shed some tears. Kranti girls will kind of rock your world for 15 minutes. And then we have the potty toilet agenda, right? And even talking to Shaila and most of my other friends here from Chirag, Jyoti and Mridula, Priya, we're actually tackling a potty pad problem, and we run into this where the girls don't even have underwear. And this is pretty common And I don't think most of you actually are aware of the fact. So we do actually have agendas to kind of take care of that too. So we gave the pad, we gave the underwear, but we don't have a bathroom where they can actually change. So that's exactly why Potty Toilet started. And through my sister here, Haima, we actually did orchestrate some of that in Srikakulam, thanks to Kairos and Sudhakar Pennan for all his support and leadership there. So potty toilets, potty pads, potty trafficking. You obviously give a bathroom, and if you don't give water, that's not going to work either, right? So there is this water agenda as well. We're kind of trespassing into Uganda for some of our water initiatives too there. And last but not the least, education. And please, I said last, education. Education is not an equalizer. I want you guys to seriously reconsider that. Education is only an enabler. The holistic thing is actually the protection, the sanitation, the water, the health. That is actually what truly holistic and equalizer, right? If you don't give a pad, you're not creating an equal society. Can anybody guess how long it's going to take to just have gender equality in US? 208 years, based on the latest study, and that's just US. I don't even know what's happening in India. So $100,000 is what we're trying to raise here. I know we can't hit the target, but I would definitely love to hear from some of you guys. I'd like to start off with, and I'd love to thank Ravi Madhi. This is a great opportunity for me to thank him, not just for the donation of $300 pledge that he made, but he has very generously allowed us to use his Our Kids Montessori School for our Change Makers program. So thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Sailaja, if you guys are here. Sparkles, obviously all the decor that you see here are actually a couple of my very good friends, Paddu and Shanti, and they have pledged, my goodness, $3,000. Raghu Chettimala from Techstar Group, and I've known these guys for like the past 10 years. Greatly appreciate his support, $1,000. Kairos Technologies, can you guess the number? $10,000. Sudhakar Gaikwad, thanks buddy, $101. Thank you, Gauri, for $200 donation. This does mean a lot. This is my brother Srinivas Reddy, $100. Oh, it's $1,000. We just lost a zero there. We have another $10,000 from Yasmi Soft. No. Yeah, Yasmi Soft, Sandeep Kilaru. I know he couldn't make it today, but we really, truly, greatly appreciate all his support. Thank you so much. Chaitanya and Sony Mallampati, $500. Thank you guys. Mohini Suri and significant other, I forgot the name, I think Prashant. They committed $1,000. Summer Vijay Sharma, $100. If we haven't mentioned this before, we don't necessarily just need to take a pledge. If you have a credit card, we'll take your payment right now. This is my friend and buddy Parthasarthi Abdas. $500, thank you. This is another friend of mine, Suresh Mupadi, $750. I love that. Rajendra Tota for special needs child, appreciate that, buddy. $500. This is my big brother Shiva Shankar Manchi, $1,000. It's raining money right now. This is my classmate, my batchmate, my buddy Bhaskar Gopi Reddy, $500. Balaji Ramalla, he's my brother-in-law, another $500. Kiran Epuri is also my classmate, and they travel all the way from Miami for this event, $500. Kurma Rao Garu, obviously you met him, Care and Love, another $1,000. Vikram Gandikoda, $1,000. I don't think we have a stage big enough for the picture now. Ravi Bajuri, $500. I think I need to kind of mention the fact that there is this recurring donation option that we also do, and it's truly the only reason why we have grown this big so far. Right, there are this 20 people, 20 to 25 people, my friends and my family, most of them, and that allows us to kind of scale, not just our organization, but any organization for that matter. So if you wanted to sponsor a farmer's kid and make him the next agriculture, icon or something, the only way you can do this is actually consider donating on a regular basis, which is more on a recurring basis, right? So if you want to consider doing something like that, we'll actually honor PayPal, we do all kinds of stuff. So, and obviously you get a tax benefit, and if you have an employer which matches stuff, even better, right? So, Shilpa from Plano, $50, and this is a monthly sponsorship, so that's a very big deal. Thank you, Shilpa. Well, these are the parents of one of my favorite kids, Ojaswi. Rohit Mehra and Saloni Mehra, $1,000. Thank you guys. Kavita Durpa, you guys have seen the performance today. She's married to this amazing guy, Hadnath Kanikulanu, who's also the CFO for Save the Child. Whoa. We have Karen Lau Kurma Rao Garu. He made another pledge for $1,000. Or am I repeating myself? Wait a minute. I'm repeating myself. Sorry about that. Sudhakar Peram, I actually know him as well. He also has his own company here, and he pledged $1,000 today. Priya Sureka and Ashutosh Sureka, $500. I'm sure Ashutosh could not make it today. And we lost a few friends because they're all participating in a funny singing competition right now. Who's here? Oh, thank you, Ashutosh. One from the wife and one from the husband. I like this. So Ashutosh, another $500. This is getting really interesting. Bhaskar Reddy, who's my close buddy here, so their whole volleyball team has pledged $501. Surya Badu, monthly recurring for $50. Again, it's a big deal. That's $600 per year, right? Thank you. Somebody do the calculation. Thank you. Devanandan Shankar Narayanan and Santosh P. Balachandra Bharati, $500. Oh, that's a long name. Thank you. So I'll just take a quick moment to thank everybody. I truly appreciate all the support that you have shown. We will actually make it happen and we'll make sure these girls are protected. We actually do have a very long-term roadmap that we already put together. So we're working with the organization to actually create awareness comics and through menstrual period they actually do something for sanitation and then personal and hygiene and stuff. But we are also now trying to work with them for creating awareness with the boys. So putty rape is not a girl's problem. Please note that it's not a girl's problem, it is a boy's problem. And that's exactly what we are trying to do. We're trying to educate the boys to behave themselves and treat the girl as a putty. And that's the bottom line that we are all trying to hit today. I think I'm just getting greedy. I'm seeing if there are any more checks flowing, but I think that's pretty much it. So the last thing I would ask each of you before you leave today and then after you go home, and this is especially for men, and then I'd like to kind of really call this out only for the men, not for the women in this room. If you ever think about, a lot of us we keep talking about treating women, empowering women and creating opportunities for empowerment and all that stuff. I don't think we need to do that. With women, all you need to do is to treat them equal. They really know what to do and they will rule the world. So it's about gender equality and treating women equal, not empowering women. They more than very well know what to do. Thank you, everybody. So party is done. I would now like to introduce three of the most amazing sisters. I just found them yesterday. They're from Kranti, directly from the red light area of Mumbai. Just prepare to be wowed, and they'll show you a world of what it means to be not just a pari, but what it means to be a Krantikari. Let me welcome three darlings we have here in this room today. Ashmita, Farah, and Sheetal. This is Sheetal. This is soon to be aspiring Prime Minister of India. And this is Farah. She's actually from LA right now, but you got to hear the stories out. Let's go to India. Let's go to Mumbai. Let's just go to the red light district and they'll tell you what life all is about. They can't shut off the lights because then they will not get it. So deal with it. Okay?
So we are going to do a small activity. Can we have lights? I want to see all of the faces. ऑडियंस का फेस देखना है. Cool. So we are going to do a small activity. For that, I request you all to close your eyes. Can you please? Thank you so much. So imagine you are a 13-year-old girl from an Indian village who never went to school. At age 13, you are married to a 35-year-old man who already has a wife. He is an alcoholic and unemployed. By age 16, you have 2 children and you start doing domestic work to feed your family. But it is not enough money. Your husband plans you to send you to the city, promising that domestic work will pay twice as much in the city and you will all live happily. But when you reach the city, he sells you to a brothel and leaves the 2 children with you.
After 6 months, you have the opportunity to run away from the brothel and take your kids from this brothel, and you can run away to another brothel and earn $100 a month, and or go to a domestic work for $50 per a month. If you choose sex work, please raise your hand. Please close your eyes, and if you choose a sex work, raise your hand. Okay. If you choose domestic work, please raise your hand
You don't have to look each other, just close your eyes.
and do it. And please, everyone has to do this activity. It's a request. Okay. For those who have choose domestic work, you work there for 3 months, and the man who pays you started abusing you, refusing to pay unless you have sex with him. Now that you have a choice, run away to another domestic job or become a sex worker. If you want to take another domestic job, please raise your hand. And you can put your hands down, sorry. Now everyone, now you all are 17 and you became very sick, and hospital test shows you have HIV. You get your children tested and it turns out both your children are HIV positive too. You have to now look after your own medicine and also your children's education and health care. For those still doing domestic work at another home, your second employer started abusing you after 6 months at the new job. Your cost for your children and your own health care are approximately $90 a month. If you want to continue in domestic work for $50 a month, raise your hand. Can you please
Raise a little, we want to see the hands.
okay. And if you want to become a sex worker for $100 a month, please raise your hand. I know it's not an easy choice. Okay. For those who are in sex work, you learn about an NGO that keeps children of sex workers and provides shelter, education, and health care. If you want to send your children to that NGO, please raise your hand.
Perfect. Now you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for doing this activity. Now all of you must be wondering like, why did we make you do this activity? And how is this connected to you? Like you're not a sex worker, you're not a domestic worker, anything like, but why we made you do this? So now the story that you heard about a 13-year-old girl who been sold into brothel is the story of our moms. Our mom who been like, when they were 9-year-old, they've been like, they've been sold into brothels by their own father or the family member or somebody in the family, And the girls in the Kranti who are like 14 years old or 12 years old, they've been also trafficked at age of 9 or 10 or maybe 12. So basically, this NGO Kranti works with the daughter of sex worker to empower the girls to become an agent of social change. So there are 3 main mottos of Kranti that we work with. First is therapy, second is traveling, and the third one is theater. The therapy. So basically, all of the girls who come into Kranti is like, including Sheetal, Ashi, and myself. We've been abused by like our father or the family member or somebody. So all the girls from Kranti have been abused or have some kind of physical or mental force that they've been gone through. So basically we do therapy. The Kranti believes that when you do a therapy, like, we've been carrying a lot of weight on ourselves. Like, we've been always told, like, this was your mistake. Like, you've been abused, you've been raped because this was your mistake. Like, probably you were not wearing the good clothes, probably you were not having the good manner to talk to the guy, like, So the society been telling us all the time that this is your mistake, this is your problem, and that's the reason this has happened to you. But the therapists, they always tell us and they encourage us, like, this is not your mistake. Whatever happened to you, this was not your mistake. Because you never, like, you don't know what happened to you, like, and like the therapy, they encourage us to understand from other people's perspective, to know, like, why did that man did this kind of activity with you guys. And like, first of all, like, we used to be very angry, like, I just want to kill that guy who did this to me. Like, I just want to, if I find that guy, I don't know what I'm going to do. But it took a lot of time to go through this therapy and like a lot of patience. And after some time, we realized that we are at this point, like, if my rapist is standing in front of me, I can say that I have reached in that point that I can forgive the rapists who have raped me or any of us. We are able to forgive them, not because, like, we are something very great personality or something, but this is what we have been taught, and this is what we have been understand. Like, okay, this was not our mistake, Like, people say so many things to us, but it's our choice to not take this on to us and to believe, like, we are incredible and we can do more than that. Like, our limits are not just here. Like, people always tell us, like, okay, because you are a daughter of sex worker, your future job is gonna be a daughter of sex worker. Like, you're gonna end up working the same thing, They always put under these boundary lines, like, okay, you're just gonna be here. But my question to them and to everybody who is sitting here, like, why we always come here? Like, I think we can go more than that. I think we can achieve more than that. And the second thing that Kranti believes in is called traveling. So basically what we understand is, like, when we travel, we learn from many people, like, from their perspective, like, what they understand, what is their opinion about life, what they have been through, or like what they understand, like how they take life seriously, or like, what is their planning and whatnot. So that makes us learn a lot. So that's why, like, Kranti do a lot of traveling. And the third one is theater. So basically, a mom's story, like, who've been in sex worker and, like, who've been trafficked, like, we took their story, and also we've been to Kamatipura, like, and we took this story of our moms and write this story by ourselves, and we've been performing all over around the place to make, to make people aware, like, what is Kranti's work, why do we support sex workers, like, and some people, they always keep asking, like, why your mothers still want to do that work, or why they cannot come. They always think, like, there is always the option to come out of this work and do some other work. But as you heard in the story, like, our mom has tried to go out of the sex work, do some domestic work, but what happens? Like, you end up doing the same thing. Like, your boss is abusing you some way or the other. So one more question here it arises, like when somebody says that I want to be a doctor, we never question that person. When a teacher says that I want to be a teacher, we never question them like why you want to be a teacher. But if a sex worker says that I want to be a sex worker, we all question them. So my question to you all guys, like, you know, and people think that, oh, you guys are so poor, we are so sad about your story, but we believe, like, you know, we are not victim of the situation that happened to us, but we are survivor. We believe, like, you know, whatever happened to us is for the good reason, and whatever is happening to us right now is making us more stronger. The family in the Kamatipura or the red light area is not darker, it's not horrible for us. The family lives there, we love them, and that's our house, that's our home, and we feel safe for them. So when we talk about change, what you really mean about change? The change will only come when you just not think about it, but also do something about it. Thank you.
Standing ovation to you. That was pretty moving, and I'll share some videos of Kranti on a social media. So please, if you do get a chance, just watch them, and you'll know like the energy that these girls actually bring. We are cutting it really late here, so without any ado, I would love to invite one of my best and good friends, Soumya Dabriwa. And before we do the introduction, I think we need to see this video first. And I'd also like to invite Soumya's friend Anmol. Please join us on the stage. Come over. Where is Mr. Henry Navas? Krishna, can you play the Bala video? I'm sure you guys will love this video. This is the Kranti. Just play Bala. Thank you.
तू चाहेगा keeps calling us superheroes and, kind of giving us the credit for doing all we do. But you can see the insulation that we have as young change makers, both from the end of Ravi and Vinay and everyone at the Save the Child Foundation team who encourage us continuously. And the second comes from all of the faces that you saw on the screen. The smiles, the laughter, the girls, the incredible stories that we see and hear every day that we're on ground, that just motivates us and keeps us going. So I'll give you a little bit of background of what Bala is and what we've been able to do in the past 2.5 years. So as a 19-year-old, while I was still a college student, I was working in the slum schools of Ghana in Africa and Haryana in India. I was teaching math and English in the sweltering heat in both of these countries, and we would avoid drinking any water during the day just so that we don't have to go to the toilets, because the conditions of the toilets were dismal. That got us thinking, what are our students doing? A little more investigation, a little more time with the girls led us to find out that during that period, they would totally miss school. 3 to 4 days of school every single month. More research, more statistics, more surveys showed 23 million girls in India drop out of school just because of period. Something natural, something we have absolutely no control over, leads to this trade-off between education, and that just didn't seem acceptable. So it wasn't just about the lack of this menstrual protection, but was also about the lack of awareness around menstrual health and hygiene. So today, if you go to any of the slums in Delhi or some rural village and pick a random woman or girl and ask them, how many years have you been menstruating for? So if you speak to a woman who's hit menopause, has menstruated for 30 years of her life, 12 times every single year, and you ask her, why do you think that happens? Some answers are because a witch enters our body, because that's how they interpret PMS. The mood swings, the different cravings, they just think that there's an external body that's entered. If you ask them what's happening, they say, God's getting rid of the impurities in our body. This sort of misinformation, beliefs have led to this vicious cycle of stigma, myths and taboos that first lead to unawareness and then lead to the unacceptability of adapting safer and better practices. So we decided that it doesn't need to be just about menstrual awareness or just about menstrual protection, it needs to go hand in hand. So at the age of 2021, we started Project Bala. This video is approximately 10 months old, and at that time you saw a lot of me in the video because I used to be amongst the few people in the team who could conduct the workshops, but now we've got 32 young girls, all under the age of 24. Every single girl under the age of 24. People have studied at Cornell, people have studied at Stanford, people have studied at Warwick University, come back. They could have had the most lucrative careers anywhere in the world, but they chose to come back and work for the cause. And I'm so grateful for every single one of them. And together, Ravi, we recently signed an agreement for 50,000 more girls in the next 10 months, and that brings us to 125,000 girls and women who we work with. And every single woman we directly interact with. It's a one-on-one conversation where we cover 7 important topics about menstrual health and hygiene. We've picked one focus, menstruation. So we make sure at every single thing that they need to know about menstrual health, menstrual hygiene, we get to them. And the second thing that we do is give them the Bala reusable sanitary napkins. These are used for up to 18 to 24 months, and that takes care of the menstrual cycles for those 2 months. So this helps us solve a lot of problems in a lot of different levels, because we get all of the mothers, grandmothers, everyone to come together in this one big room, create a safe space for conversation so that we can completely uproot all of the myths and taboos that have passed on from one generation to another. And you saw the smiles on the faces, and I don't know if you noticed, there was one photograph where there were 400 girls seated and there was one girl stood up. and talking about periods. After, years and years and years of just doing this when they heard the word period. So that's amongst the biggest achievement that we have, that we get them to talk, we get them to understand, and then finally adapt something safe and hygienic. So, this couldn't be done by one person or one organization. It's the support of a lot of people. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, and they've allowed us to do everything. We would love to grow and support as many people as we can. There's 335 million menstruating women in India, and only 70% have access to safe menstrual products at the moment. I was using the handkerchief after eating dinner today. I wiped my hand, and after eating dessert, I wanted to wipe my hands again. And I didn't want to use the side, which I'd already used. And that made me think, 70% of the girls in India are using this rag, this piece of cloth, every time when they're on their period. Some of them use the same piece of cloth for an entire year. And we don't even think about it when we're using, we can't even think that a piece of cloth can mean so much to so many people. So I urge you to think, I urge you to kind of support as many girls and women as we can, not just through Bala, but also Pari, to OFM. There's so many of us trying to reach this goal and objective. So thank you, and thank you so much for listening.
If you guys didn't know, just had one of our friends, Henry, now was leave. But Soumya and I will actually be visiting Rochester Institute of Technology day after tomorrow. We are actually doing a big project in partnership with RIT. And this is called Project Big Shot. We'll keep you guys posted. We're going to be doing this around Chand Bawari in Rajasthan. We'll catch up on that pretty soon here. I know we're running out of time. Thank you, Soumya. Thanks for all the awesomeness. I would now love to invite the entire Pure team, led by Shaila Talluri, Hema, Deepa, Archana. Can you all please come to the rise? Krishna, can you play the Pure video now? Shaila is one of the most amazing people I've ever crossed. I actually practically met her today for the first time. We've been Facebook friends. And so this is one girl who, no matter what, she has taken social media by like a storm, right? She has shown us ways of how you can really impact people, how you can motivate people and inspire people, not just in tens and hundreds, but thousands and thousands of people, right? And I don't think there is any better way to introduce the fact that this is an organization which runs under the leadership of Shaila, and they have impacted 150,000 children in less than 2 years or close to 2 years. That number speaks a lot, and obviously there's a lot of work and blood and sweat that has actually gone beyond that. I'm truly humbled to have my friend Shaila here, and I would like for her to share some of her experiences alongside with her team.
Thanks, Ravi. And I'm here with my team, so come forward. We have seen many stories, realities in fact, a reality for many, which we have understood, we have learned, we have known, we have seen today. But there's another reality we all need to appreciate ourselves for. Behind all those tears is pain. But every one of you here is part of putting smiles back on those faces. Be it Kranti, be it the girls Soumya has been helping, and the farmers Suresh has been helping, and everybody else. Madhavirata, Mallikarjun, and Haima. And if I've missed anybody, I'm sorry about it, but all of us are doing our bit. And we'll keep doing it, and I'm pretty sure. So I think we need to give ourselves a round of applause for the smiles that we are putting and for the smiles that we promise to put on those faces. When we say social media, the first thing is we talk about the negative part of it, but Pure's backbone has been social media. What is Pure? Pure is a promise, the smiles that we all just applauded about, Pure is a promise to put smiles, keep those smiles on the faces of children who have chosen education as their weapon to fight poverty. We talk about agrarian crisis. There is a child out there who lost a parent, a dad, and is forced to quit his college. He or she could be in engineering second year or something. They are forced to supplement income. That's where Pure steps in and says, we are there to ease the little burden. We can't replace your dad or mom or your family, but we will hold your hand until you can stand on your own feet. And we have done that. Shivani and her mother, I know all of you understand that the faces change, names change, but there are stories and realities out there. But this is one story I want to share with you. Shivani and her mom were about to commit suicide, jumping off of Yadagiri Gutta. If you are from the Telugu states, you know Yadagiri Gutta, a famous temple area. They were sold into sex work by their own grandmother. So the mom's mom sold all three, two of her grandchildren and her daughter, into sex slavery. The mom didn't want that, but she did not have the resources to fight her own mother. We've been talking about dads, we have been talking about men, we have been talking about boys. Victims and their culprits come in all colors, races, and genders. And here, boys out there, you're not evil. There is evil in evil, that's all. We're all human, right? So here's a mom about to jump off the cliff of this little hillock. They were rescued. Last month, this was 3 years ago. Last month I got a text that Shivani was placed with Wipro. I saw the offer letter. That's what you are doing today, hearing our stories out and promising to help all those Shivanis out there, right? So thank you for what you're doing. And I have a little note from my team back in India. నలుగురితో పాటు మనం నడిస్తే అది ప్రయాణం అవుతుంది. నలుగురిని మనతో పాటు నడిపిస్తే అది ప్రస్థానం అవుతుంది. ప్రయాణాన్ని ప్రస్థానంగా మారడానికి మన అనుకోగల ఒక మనసు అవసరం అవుతుంది. అలాంటి మంచి మనసున్న మంచి మనుషులందరినో ఒక వేదిక మీదకు తీసుకువచ్చిన సేవ్ ద చైల్డ్ వారికి నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్సులు. Awesome job, Ravi and team. I know this has been a little heavy. We are all going to live heavy-hearted, but we are also going to, I'm pretty sure, sleep peacefully, knowing that we have been part of putting smiles back on the faces. So what's pure? Again, I said pure is a promise, right? I'll just share one little story, a happy one, and then I'll thank you all. So, Pure works with schools, infrastructure, sponsorships, menstrual hygiene, everything that we have seen today, that our friends have shared. Pure does all of that. Street children, adopting orphanages that are financially struggling, hundreds of sponsorships, growing urban forests. All of this has been done in 3 years, less than 3 years. And I'll go back to the social media. What we have learned is to say no. To say no to donations. When I say, why are we saying no? If I need $5,000 for a project, and I get $5,050, I say no to the $50. That's how we have built trust. When I say no to the 50, I'm not saying I don't want that 50. I tell the sponsor, we tell the sponsor where that 50 is going. And that's what Save the Child does too. The transparency and accountability is what has brought us onto this platform. In doing all this, we run into stories again of lives, but there is this one little boy, I think his name is Yadi. He's from a small town, Tanuku, West Godavari. Like many children, he didn't have footwear. We took 30 children, these are street children who were picking rags and eating out of dumpsters. So we take them shopping and then bring them back to Abhyasa, which is a street to children's school that Pure runs. And the boy refuses to get out of the auto until we took one of the sandals for ourselves. He didn't want to. He wanted to share the two he had. See what's going on here? Rendu choppulu icharu. Mar nuvvu konukoledu kada ammamma. Our volunteer Sandhya garu who actually took them shopping. You have to keep one of the sandals because you didn't buy one for yourself. So these children have nothing, is what we think, but they have a lot of love in them. And thank you all again for the love that you are giving the children. And then there's a lot of there for the children have for all of us. Thank you.
Sure.
Millions of people, millions of dreams, millions of lifestyles, and millions of smiles that are waiting to bloom, waiting forever to bloom. We are all busy building our dreams. But what if one is not allowed to dream? One does not let themselves dream because all they know are nightmares of poverty, abuse, neglect, and what they are struggling for is survival. Tempting dreams beacon of a better tomorrow, but lack of opportunities squelch them brutally, hope crushed under the burden of poverty weighing down on tiny shoulders. One visit, one smile, one word is all it takes to know they have someone who cares. Let's nurture the seed of hope with trust. Let's become the ground they can launch themselves from. Let's give them the confidence and the thoughts through which they can travel through the mind, can create the vision beyond the sky, and can hope beyond the barriers. Let's just take a step forward into a world that has very less, but a lot of love to give back. Let's walk hand in hand with those who are learning how to shake a hand gingerly, trusting us for their future. Let's just give ourselves a chance to color their dreams, a chance to write stories of victory in their lives.
I think that's pure awesomeness. So I know you guys are getting tired. I'll tell you a small tactic here just to cheer you guys up. If you guys thought this was the 11th year anniversary celebration of Save the Children, you're completely wrong. Tell you what, none of these organizations have taken a single moment of pause in the last 10 years or since their inception. I just did a small math and I figured out that this is 100 plus years of non-profit social service work which was never celebrated because nobody took a pause and nobody wants to talk the talk. These guys just believe in walk the walk, right? So this is 100 plus years of celebration today, right? With that said, I would now like to invite my brother from another mother, Suresh Ediger, and he'll kind of just, take us back to our roots. Suresh, can you please join us? Yeah, can you put the lights on, please? This is too flashy.
I think everything about tonight has been a standout event, at least for me. I don't know about you guys. Starting from the Kuchipudi dance, which was not just about the Kuchipudi, but it had a social theme to it, a strong message to the kids who did that wonderful skit, to this event where so many different organizations became part of it, and to this wonderful audience. I think you guys should treat yourself with a big round of applause for sitting through the entire event and still being very attentive, listening to everything that's being said here. So I'm not going to talk about the farmer situation because I think Ravi had spoken enough during his whole skit and throughout the event. But one thing I just want to add here is the time that we are putting in here, the effort that we are putting in here, and the money that you guys have invested. I call it investment. It's not a donation, it's not a charity, it's a responsibility, right? Because each one of us are here, we became who we became, we are where we are who we are only because of the access that we have. The access to schools, the access to public transportation, the access to bank loans, the access to all the opportunities that our parents created for us. And all we are trying to do here is create the same opportunities for the people who do not have those opportunities only because they are born poor. Right? And that's all we are trying to do. So we're not doing a favor, we are not doing a charity. We are doing because it is our responsibility. And we don't thank ourselves if doing our responsibility, because if we are raising our children, we are doing because it's our responsibility, not because somebody will come and pat our backs, right? The kids don't say, oh, thank you, daddy, or thank you, mommy, you looked after me so well. No, because it's our responsibility. The society is our responsibility too, because without them, we are not who we are, we won't be where we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. So this is a guy who's been working for the last 10 years, every single day and every single night, and he teaches his kids. He tells them bedtime stories about farmers. And I think we should probably consider taking that story home tonight and talk to our kids as well. Thank you, Suresh, again. In the interest of time, I'm going to actually bring three amazing people all together here, all of my very good friends from California. I'm truly humble. I can't speak enough, but I know we don't have enough time. So I'd like to invite Jyoti Guram from Chirag, Mrudula Bajuri from Chirag, and Priya from Children's Whitening Project. Believe me, each of them have been working for more than 10 years now. So I guess we have only limited time. I know we can't speak much, but should be grateful to hear some words of wisdom from Jyoti and Mrudula and Priya.
Thanks, Ravi. I mean, it's amazing work. I see these pictures, videos like almost every month and every day, right? But every time I see these things, tears come into my eyes. So I don't want to tell any stories about our organization, but what I want to tell is, you don't have to be a savior to serve these children, right? You can be an ally, create hope, to dream big, to dream beyond the resources that they have at home, right? How many of you work 40 hours in a week for your 2 children or 1 child at home? So what we are asking is just work 1 hour in a week or a month at least for these children, right? And donate maybe 1 hour of your salary in a month to these children. So we can create a much bigger impact. So all of us together, yeah, we can create a greater impact. I think that's what this whole partnerships are about. One charity cannot solve all these problems. So that's the reason, if you see, there are so many charities, especially Indian-based organizations, because there's so much need as well, right? Like millions of children dropping out of school, millions of children do not have access to the education. So help them as much as possible and create the hope. There are schools, there are shelters with good resources. If you take any public government school in India, they have good infrastructure, they have qualified teachers, but what is lacking is motivation, and what is lacking is hope for these children. So what we have to do is create that hope. Everything, I mean, not solved by money, right? I mean, create the hope in these schools and children. As Chirag Motto says, one child at a time. We have heard lot of stories starting with one child. And believe me, it's very addictive. Helping others, inspiring others, and giving them confidence is very addictive. I have seen a lot of smart, intelligent people in this room, and collectively net worth a lot. And promise today, just promise to yourself, you don't have to give it to Chirag or Save the Child or Pure or any of these organizations. Just go help one child per year. And that gets so addictive, it becomes one child a month. And that's how we can solve, by sharing what we have. We don't have to feel pity, we don't have to feel sorry for them. Just give them confidence, and they will give others confidence, and it's again addictive. That's all I have to say for today.
So as Ravi had mentioned many times, Children's Vitamin Project really focuses on health. From our perspective, we are a very young organization, and we met and we were created because of partnership with other organizations like Save the Child and Chirag. You were the inspiration for us to get started. So we believe that a holistic child development rests on three main pillars: health, education, and empowerment. And if we can create the right foundation, a health foundation for these children, we can really help them go far. 66 million primary school children go to school every day hungry. And we, with our children, even we cannot, skip a meal. And so if we can help them, find the right nutrition and health, they will go long ways with the help of all the organizations. Really believe in partnering and spreading our resources so that we can make a big impact in the lives of children. So thanks again, everybody.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you, Pratibha, and thank you, Jyoti. Let's watch a small AV on Pakistan and Africa really quick, and then we'll just get to the Volunteer Service Wars.
My name is Ratib Kakoza, the team leader of Community Care Foundation Uganda, which is commonly known as CCFU. CCFU is a youth-led and a youth-serving organization found in Masaka, Uganda. It is founded by young people who decided to volunteer their time to work towards social transformation. As our mission states that we welcome you on board to join hands and we reach more.
Can you cut off the video and don't record this?
Uganda. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Nakabu Agnes.
This is one of our kids. So, and we have 24 girls who are actually on our. Smita, this is just logged out, but I know what is in there. So, for all the donations that you guys have actually give today, if your company works and they actually do the matching, please let us know. I think the impact will actually be double. Very simple, very smart move, right?
It's the recurring for the month.
And then also the recurring for the month too. So,
That's what they're doing now.
yeah. So let me read that. I think it makes sense to read it, right? The matching challenge. Big thanks to all the Save the Child volunteers. They not only volunteer their time, they're also big donors for all the monthly recurring dollars you're pledging. We collectively match and double the impact. We really need your recurring donations, however small they are, for us to sustain our work. Please enhance if anyone needs a pledge form. We'll get back to you guys on a little bit. So, I need to tell you a small story, and immediately I'm going to actually ask every one of you, especially the special guests of honor today. We have a small return gift. And but before I give you talk about the return gift, I think I need to tell you guys a story. You probably did not see a flower bouquet today, right? And we wanted to change the way we felicitate or recognize people for their work. So we don't have any plans to give shawls, right? And like mementos, the $40 plaques, right? So we wanted to do something different, right? So this is exactly when the story of Palaguttapalle comes into the picture. So there are about 9 women who all manufacture party bags, and most of you must have received a souvenir take-home return gift today, right? So we do have something called like a party bag, and obviously we're trying to hit 9 different things as part of this bag. One is we're trying to solve the problem of poverty. We're trying to endorse these women's skills because they're all wives of farmers who have lost their income, and the women actually have stepped up to take over that, right? And these are amazing 9 women. They're all from a Dalit Wada out of Palaguttapalle, which is in Chittoor districts. The closest big city is Tirupati. So you probably heard the Dalit angle that I was playing there, right? So we truly believe in treating women equal. And like you must have already heard, I already made these 9 women my sisters, but we didn't stop there. We thought we want to give you guys something you can take. So what you guys got was a party bag which has about 6 or 7 compartments in. Please use this bag when you go to a grocery store and reduce the plastic. That's exactly what we're trying to tell, and this is also a Changemakers project for that matter. At this point of time, I would like to invite all the special guests of honor for today, as we would like to give a sweet gift as a return favor for all the amazing work that you guys have done. There's no way we can measure that, but we figured out a way to do it. So there is the party bag, and especially for the woman, and in Suresh's case for Sirisha, and in Mallikarjun's case for Deepika, his wife, we actually created a party sari now, right? So there is a party bag, there is a party sari, there is a party pad, right? We think this is mostly truly the remarkable way of kind of really recognizing, or very simple ga Telugulo cheppalante, meerandaru ma Save the Child aadapaduchudu. So we wanted to use it that way. Basically, in all our sister concerns, so we wanted to just recognize you and treat you well. So at this point of time, in no certain order, I'd like to invite my youngest sister here, Haima Kurma. My incredible sister Madhavi. My cousin from Florida, Shaila. And my friends from California, Jyoti, Priya, and Mridula. And my brothers in this journey, Suresh and Mallikarjun. Okay. No, Soumya, right? Still. Soumya Dabriwal, please join us. All right, thanks guys. Please take a picture. Thank you. So now I'm going to invite the really strong core team and pillars of our strength, all the women folk who actually drive us nuts and crazy and also always there to support us in everything that we do. They're just dealing with this madness called social service, and we truly appreciate all the time and effort. I'd like to first of all invite Sashireka Gandratu, my wife, Vicharita Gundapalli, the co-founder of Save the Child. Richie, where are you? Please come on. Nandita, who actually runs our party agenda from a parent's perspective for sanitation. And from a women empowerment perspective, Lavanya from Florida. And the one and only Smita. I'm sure this one begs another picture, guys. So all my brothers on the floor, please just bear with us for a few more seconds. So I'd like for you guys to, just going to step over here. So I would like to Save the Child movement folk to please give a gift to our special guest of honor here today. I want each one of you to give to the folks. Please show off the bag.
This is the perfect grocery bag.
Wait, can we just take a picture with the party bags? I'm sure the 9 women would love to see this. Thank you everybody. I would ask for you guys to stay back on the stage, except the Save the Child team can leave. I want you guys to actually do the honors for the Presidential Volunteer Service Awards, right? And in addition to that, I'm going to ask Brother Sudhakar also to join us on the stage. And please get the change makers. I don't know where these guys are. Okay, line them up. Okay. Yeah, before we actually do the Presidential Volunteer Service Award, please stay here. I'd like to invite Vanilla Vattikodi to just really quickly touch upon our Save the Child Nepal agenda. And then I'm going to give it back to Smita. I think we have to acknowledge a few more donations that came our way. And we're not fundraising to Save the Child Nepal. It's already been funded, even before we kind of kick-started that agenda. So Smita's going to read out. But do you want to speak for a couple of minutes and Save the Child Nepal? And Kanchi especially.
Hi everyone, my name is Vanilla and I'm a change maker. So who here has ever been to Nepal? You can raise your hands. Okay, so like not that many people. Okay, I see you. But you know that like if you went, it's such a beautiful place, and you know, if you haven't been, I highly recommend it. I've had the opportunity to go and trek in Nepal twice, and my first time when I went, it was to trek to Everest Base Camp, and I was fortunate enough to have this strong woman, her name is Kanchi, as one of my guides to base camp, and her story is actually quite interesting. She's kind of inspired us to start Save the Child Nepal. Basically, she grew up in a small village called Botang, which is a very rural and small village in the mountains of Nepal. And due to the poverty in that area and due to the lack of education, she unfortunately was trafficked, and because of her strength and because, just because of how strong she is, she was able to fight her way out of it. And, she knew that just coming out of that wasn't enough for her. Like, she knew that there were so many girls, not just her, that were going through the same thing, and she knew that it was her responsibility to make her voice be heard. And she knew that people wouldn't listen to her unless she did something very impactful. She knew that she had to grab people's attention. And in order to do that, that's when she took up the challenge of summiting Everest. So she successfully summited Everest 3 years ago, and she became the first woman to summit Everest for a social cause, and that was advocating against human trafficking, and also she advocated for menstrual hygiene. And then she did that 2 more times, last year and this year, successfully, and advocated for those 2 things as well. So I just think like she's one of my biggest inspirations for doing anything I do social cause wise. She's very strong, and if you meet her, she's probably the most humble person you've ever met. So you can learn a lot from her, and I think Save the Child is very lucky to have someone like her on our team. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanilla. Kanchi could not make it. I mean, she made it to Mount Everest, but she could not make it to US. She did not get a visa twice. But, so we have an Everest champion 3 times. We have a 22-year-old who has hit like 125,000. We have a 2-year-old organization which has hit like 150,000 kids. And then we have Save the Child. We somehow managed to survive. We're actually thriving right now. And hopefully we'll get all your loyalty. Right now, without any other further ado, I know the kids are all dressed up. So let Smita actually, you want me to talk about it? Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, okay, sure. So I just want to give a quick round of applause for Yasmin Saud for another $2,500. And this is all for Nepal. And believe me guys, whatever funds we're going to make, we're going to share it amongst all of us here. So Nepal for Ashrajyoti from Priya for the Children's Vitamin Project Agenda, $2,500. And Priya's actually Sheraton Vijaya Chalakuri, $1,000 for Nepal. Priya for Uganda, another $2,500. Priya is very generous today. Anil Varghese, $1,000. And Mark Wanham for Nepal, $500. Thank you guys, your generosity means a lot to us. And it's very reinforcing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, I'm going to invite my friends Vijay and then Satya here. We'll just do the honors of Presidential Volunteer Service Awards. If you guys are not familiar with this, the kids and then the middle school and high schoolers and etc., there is a threshold that they need to hit. If they hit a 50 hours for the young kids, it's like a bronze, and then we have silver and then gold. Obviously, all the chain makers were trying to aim to like hit those 100 hours of service. It is extremely difficult for high school students because we put them through so much stress of SATs and ACTs. So I really have a lot of respect for these kids who all come to me on Sunday morning, and then I keep telling the exact same stories that we talked to, right? And they're more than willing to come and do what they've been asked to do. And they make an effort to really make the difference. So we do have 20 of our kids here. We have a few other children in California who could not make it. We also have Sanjana from Pure. And I think a couple of other kids didn't make the session today. But we will actually, I think we'll just give a few shout outs first, and then we'll do the bronze, and then we'll do the silver, and then we do the, what do you call that, the gold, right? So I'm just going to call out of who's going to give them. So Vijay, do you have a plan of how we're going to do this?
I think so.
Okay. So let me give a shout out to, please give a round of applause to Samir Thoda. Please give a hand to Maya Akulan. Come over guys. Please come over, guys. miss somebody from shout-outs? Okay. So we'll then actually go with bronze first, right? This is my son Arjun Kandamseri. Can you please come? So let's start from that side. Okay, guys, we need to give the certificates and medals first. Arjun, here's a volunteering opportunity for you, buddy. You need to collect the potty bags because there's no way they can actually do this. Or maybe you guys, girls, will just want to leave it behind and we'll take it for you guys later. You guys want to play a small trivia game?
Yeah, let's do that. We have time.
You know how many kids died from the time that we actually started this program? Like 4 hours ago. How many kids did we actually lose in India right now, in the last 4 hours? 15? Please come over. I'm not here. So please hand it over. We'd like for Soumya to actually give this to Arjun. And please do one thing for me. Please come over here when you give it. Please get a picture, please. Thank you. Yeah, put the medal on. And a picture. Next, I would like to invite Harsha Ketuvarpu. Suresh, can you please do the honors for Harsha? Come on, guys. Harsha Ketuvarpu. I'm sure the kids already know their parents suck. We can't even organize. Okay, I think this is going to be a nightmare. I have another idea.
We arranged them and all of them got messed up.
We're all tired already. Thank you, Suresh. Please put the medal. Jyotsna Chilboina. Shaila will do the honors for you. Go. Thank you, Shaila. Mridula, can you please do the honors for Rajasvi Mehra? We actually did a GoFundMe campaign. She raised $750 for Bala and Pari, which actually impacted 50 girl children in Delhi. Sorry, 50 women from slums, and then another 50 girls for Pari pads in India. I mean, like in Andhra Pradesh. Priya, can you do the honors for Ritesh Vuturi? Looking smart, Ritesh. Thank you, Priya. Jyoti, can you do the honors for Rashik Bajuri? This guy makes us very happy and very mad at the same time. उसके बजाय Thank you, Jyoti. Madhavi, can you do the honors for Vanilla Vatakuri? Most of you, if you don't know already, Vanilla went and did a base camp challenge, which was the route for everything from a body standpoint that we do. We do have Mahadev who's in Miami, he didn't make it today. The next one is Rati, and we'll actually ask Haima to actually do the honors for Rati. Is she here? Okay. Thank you, Haima. This is interesting. The next one up is Ria, and I'd like to ask Malika Chungaru to do it. It just so happens that she already visited Kannur once, and she has met the kids. And the funny story about Ria is, we told her that I gave her 2 roti challenge. I told her, when you go to India, anticipate the hunger on the streets. Take 2 rotis, just plan for it, and just go to the streets. You'll find somebody, just feed them. Instead, Ria, what she did was she told her mom to make 200 rotis. Thank you, Ria. And Ria she just met Sneha, HIV/AIDS children that we actually HIV children in Bangalore on a recent trip. The next up is Suhani, and it's very befitting for Sudhakar Ramakrishna to do this honor. Suhani is one of the most amazing kids I've ever seen. She's almost like my other second daughter. And what makes this girl incredible is she actually published her first book when she was 12 years old, and she has the courage to actually dedicate this book to Pari. Okay, now we're going to do the honors for all the gold medal winners. These kids have been really patient with me. They never miss a class. They're always ready to help. And as I speak to these kids, I'll actually tell you like what amazing stuff they actually have done. Who has Arush Satu? Do you have it? Okay. Alright, so we'll just go in the sequence here. Arush Satu from South Lake. Aditi Konduru. Aditi just happened to also visit Sneha home in Bangalore, and she did share a lot of experiences with us when she came back. Ananya Kadrigala, the youngest one of all and the most fearless of all. Asna Nipuri from Florida. So for all the special guests, if you do see a greeting card in your bag, that's Asna actually hand prepared them. And so thank you, Asna, for that. Bhavna Reddy. Bhavna actually did a 10K like about a year ago, and she did raise quite a few amount of funds. She's a happy camper with her dad, and they do a lot of marathons together. Thank you, Bhavna. Charishma Chellipoina, we actually all fondly call her Charmi. One of the youngest kids, and certainly made a connection with the kids at Kerala and Ashwajyoti already. Okay, this one's mine. Dhruv Kandam. Sanjana Harihar. This is my daughter number 3. I guess there's no way I can separate this Suhanju group. So the next one is obviously mine, Sayu Kandam. Please give it a hand. She probably exceeded more hours than anybody else, obviously because she's stuck with it. But then that's not the reason. She always takes an opportunity, and probably a kindest soul that I've ever met. The special kudos to Saryu because she was the assistant director for the skit, putting all the props together and keeping tabs on Daddy and etc. Thank you, Saryu. Sanjana, yeah, we have to go over. Yeah, we have to go. Srisha Dasari, one of our youngest kids too. What's amazing about Srisha, I think I need to tell you this. So we were talking in the class about the need for this industrial washer. And so this girl goes to the school, literally the next day to talk to the principal. That we got to do something about this problem, right? It's just about that moment of reflex and the action, the speed of action which makes these guys change makers. Thank you, Srisha. The next one is Zayan Haider. I'm sure based on the noise you know a little about Zayan already. Zayan is actively engaged in spreading the word, events at home and at school, and so he's always a great kid to work with, always ready to help. He's from Bangladesh. And why that matters? Because we are already talking, or we are investing to do something about a Rohingya crisis situation, to kind of take Bala pads there, in partnership and friends of Priya and Jyoti and everybody else here. Thank you, Zayan. And then we have one and only Sanjana Puni from Pure. This girl is a TEDx speaker already. I don't know which school she's going. Please give a big hand for Sanjana. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do the honors for you there. So we're almost coming to the close, and there is one dream that I always had, and I've shared with all the esteemed folks and friends of mine here. So I wanted to create a selfie which talks about 100 years of experience, right? And I wanted to use that to tell a story. So what I'm going to do right now is, I'm going to actually call on a few names. Please join us here, and we'll just take one bag of a selfie. Look at the kids, they're already taking selfies. You guys are so selfish. Right. You call yourself chain makers? So, Pure team, can you please come onto the dais, please? Smita, can you please join us? Vijay, Satya, Sashi, Nandita, Richie. Lavanya, if you guys know who you are, you should already be on the dais. I should not be calling you guys. Man, this light is blinding, so I can't. Kavita, come on, Kavita. Hadna, Venkat, Patula, Venkat, Mantri, Ravi Kiran. And after the picture, we'll do a vote of thanks. And if you guys are still up for some dance, we have a DJ who's going to make some magic. I'm pretty skeptical right now, but you never know with DJ Crew. Am I missing somebody? Is there any way all of us will be in the same picture? Or do we have to stack up all? You want to do that? Okay. For gender equality, all the guys will actually sit down. Alright? We'll let you guys stand tall. Alright. Nobody wants to join me? Are you kidding me? Ready?
Yes. No. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, go!
Spaghetti. All you can see is Ravi's. So many sons there.
Well, we got too many pictures today, so that's okay.
Thank you. As long as you can plaster some hair on top of the head, that's fine. Thank you, everybody. I'd now like to ask Hadnath Kanikulam to do a quick word of thanks. Where is Hadnath? Okay, that's fine. I'll actually have some questions. Okay, so I guess I failed to mention something. I think it's very critical that each of you know this, and that will be our closing thought for today. So, the master of ceremony today, Smita. Smita, can you please come on the dais for a second? Please, come on. No, yeah, come on, please go. Yeah. So, probably reserve another day for all the awesomeness that Smita brings to and happiness to the people. But she was the one who actually designed the party logo. And now we are trying to make that a whole brand, trying to make, make every girl feel special and kind of sensitize the boys of how you treat girls. Right? So I humbly and very respectfully thank Smita for all that she has done. And that vision is being carried forward by soldiers, an army of soldiers that we actually are creating and building. So thank you, Smita. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, I think the whole point was, since we are trying to create a brand through Pari, I would really encourage everyone to take it forward and use those bags actually, and don't just toss it, because there was a lot of hard work put together by the ladies in I think,
In Palaguttupalle in Chittoor district.
this was not just ordered through some random factory, it was actually made by these women. So please cherish those bags, they're amazing, and please move it forward. And that's all I was we were asking. So.
If it rings a bell, it's organic cotton heavy duty canvas bag, which is world class. And so please become a Pari ambassador for us by just using the bag. I would now like to invite Hadnat Kanikulanu to kind of do the vote of thanks. And then we'll do a national anthem right after that. Thank you.
It's really humbling to see all these distinguished great souls at one place and ending this event on a big bang with all the donations that everybody out here has contributed to. I would really like to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for being here, and we will carry this torch, be a beacon of hope for kids in India, around the world, and create a positive vibe in the souls of the kids in India and abroad and around the world. Thank you again for you guys being here, and as Ravi was saying, please stand up for the national anthem. Thank you.
City of Frisco has announced August 31st as a party day. We'll see you guys next year. Thank you.